I'm Maddie, and today I'm going to be giving my multicultural speech. What does Hawaiian Punch, Tillamook Dairy, and Pam Cooking Spray all have in common? They're all certified kosher. Maybe you know that keeping kosher is a way of preparing food according to Jewish law. However, maybe that's the extent of your knowledge on Orthodox Judaism. Today I'm hoping to further your knowledge by beginning to discuss three important cultural aspects of the faith. I'm going to start by explaining the traditions of Kashrut, followed by the traditions of Shabbat, and finally end on an essential aspect of Judaism, the Torah. I'm going to inform you on these traditions while providing a glimpse into difficulties of practicing strict faith in modern times. First, Kashrut. Kashrut is the Hebrew word for what you may know as kosher, a set of dietary laws dealing with food and its preparation according to Jewish law. Kashrut is considered to be at the center of Jewish heritage, with lists of food that are kosher provided by the Torah. Kosher is pretty complex, so I'm going to break it down a little bit. Note that there are many deeper aspects to keeping kosher, and I'm just going to scratch the surface. To be kosher, you must not eat food products derived of pig, carnivorous animals, or shellfish. You must only eat the meat of animals with cloven or split hooves. The meat you eat must be slaughtered by a ritual slaughterer, and you must not eat meat and milk together. Finally, you must cook with appropriate utensils and cookware. This can mean separate utensils, sinks, and even ovens for different products. Modern era has brought interesting dispute to people practicing Orthodox Judaism. Now we have packaged food, restaurants, and modern medicine. Packaged foods must be stamped with a certified kosher label. And if you have a medication that you need to take that's not kosher, usually meaning it contains gelatin, and if there are no other substitutes, the rabbi must be consulted. Herbert Daimser, in the fall of 1990, wrote a really interesting article called The Meanings of the Newly Orthodox in Biblical and Talmudic Injunctions to Observe Kashrut, where I learned a lot of my information about this interesting tradition. Next, Shabbat. Shabbat is Hebrew for what you may know as the Sabbath, Judaism's day of rest and seventh day of the week. On this day, you're supposed to refrain from all work and avoid specific activities. Shabbat is said to be a deal between God and the Jewish people, a reminder of the covenant. Shabbat laws are also very complex. You're not allowed to cook the day of, so all the cooking must be prepared a day in advance. Food is prepared in a slow cooker with the flame turned on the day before Shabbat because there's no electricity allowed to be used day of. It is Jewish law that every individual practicing must eat 3 meals the day of, one of which must include bread. Challah bread is traditionally eaten before the meal on the day of Shabbat following a prayer. In today's world, people practicing may run into difficulties adhering to Shabbat. In generations before, when women weren't allowed to work, it was relatively seamless to follow this tradition. However, now, with 2 individuals leaving for work, it's very difficult to set aside an entire day for cooking and an extra entire day to stay home. Other than work, a lack of understanding by non-practicing people make it very difficult to adhere to these traditions properly. Bela Berkowitz, in January of 2008, wrote a really interesting article called Cultural Aspects in the Care of Orthodox Jewish Women. She wrote about many interesting aspects of what it is like to be an Orthodox Jewish woman in modern times. She addressed Shabbat in a very interesting way. Last but certainly not least, I'm going to discuss the Torah. Orthodox Judaism is defined by its interpretation of the Torah. What sets Orthodox Judaism apart from other branches of Judaism is the belief that the Torah was presented by God on Mount Sinai to Moses and is meant to be interpreted literally. The Torah is a portion of the Hebrew Bible and is intended to teach by providing laws for the Jewish people to follow. As with many religions, there's a great deal of complexity surrounding who is allowed to interpret the Torah. A person qualified by academic studies of the Torah can act as a religious leader of a Jewish community. This person is called the rabbi. In more progressive branches of Judaism, women can become rabbis. However, in Orthodox Judaism, women cannot. This brings up a lot of controversy in the Jewish community. In order to work towards equality, the Jewish Orthodox Feminist Alliance, or JOFA, was created. JOFA is working to expand opportunities for women within Jewish law. Throughout history, it has been really difficult for women to gain respect in the branch of hermeneutics, the branch of knowledge dealing with who can interpret a literary text. And women of Jewish Orthodox religion are currently working very hard to be able to become midrashim, interpretation of the Torah. I learned a lot about this in an interesting article by Ronit Ishra, which was written in the spring of 2017. Her article, Feminist Hermeneutics, Women's Midrashim, and the Boundaries of Acceptance in Modern Orthodox Judaism, provided interesting insight to me as I learned about women today. Today I attempted to explain aspects of tradition of Orthodox Judaism. I incorporated modern circumstances and discussed some of these traditions. I talked about kashrut, Shabbat, and essentially the Torah. I hope you learned a lot today, and I hope you are curious enough to learn more about Orthodox Judaism. Thank you.